guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Jacobs Mitsubishi in Wesley Chapel, Florida. And guess what? I have that one sports car that's all about pure driving engagement. What am I talking about? This car right here. This is it. This is the return of that iconic British nameplate. This is a Lotus Emira first edition. But before we get into this Twinkie yellow sports car with a lot of history, let's talk about what's going on here. So Lotus, it was all started by Colin Chapman back in 1948. And what Colin Chapman was all about was making cars extremely light. It wasn't about putting big, huge, high horsepower V8s, V12s, flat sixes. It was about making each component as light as possible to make them nimble. And for many years, they've went on to win not only Grand Prix races, but Grand Prix championships. Of course, Jimmy Clark winning that 1965 Indy 500. And then the rest of the history that follows after. Now, I've always been a big fan of Lotus, especially growing up in the 80s and 90s, the Lotus Esprit. Of course, we've already brought you the previous model to this vehicle, which was the Evora. And if you haven't seen that review, I'll leave it at the end of this one. But this new Emira has really made a promise on elevating the whole driving experience, but also by doing it with unseen fit, finish, and materials in a Lotus. So what I want to find out is this the must-have sports car? If you are the person, the kind of person that's a pure driver, that wants that pure driving engagement, let's go ahead, let's dive into this 2024 Emira First Edition and find out. Right off the bat, the body lines. Oh my God. Every angle just makes my jaw drop and drool flows from it like Niagara Falls. The style is unmistakable that this is a Lotus Emira. Now, at the front of the business, you'll see they did a great job with a small headlight housing. Love the angle to it, everything LED. LED headlights, daytime running lamps, turn signals. You'll see the Emira name within the headlight housing. Working your way down, you do have functional corner air curtains and obviously venting that is there for the heat exchangers. I like the honeycomb wire mesh finish. You got your corner air curtain. It's a little gloss black heavy. I wish that this was either carbon fiber or maybe just trim it down a little bit and make the opening a little larger. But definitely looks really, really good. And the fact that it's all functional really points to the direction of Lotus cars. I mean, it's all about that driving engagement. Now, you'll notice how they took the bodywork and actually created a corner splitter here to help with downforce, help with aerodynamics, and then the way everything just kind of slides up, the air just slides up, and you have actually more aero built into the front nose. Now, I know a lot of non-car people will probably look at this car and think maybe it's a Ferrari, maybe it's a Lamborghini, but those that are in the know, they know what this is. Lotus Emira, very special car. Now, as we come across that low slung nose, you have more of that honeycomb wire mesh finish. Love the way fully functional to bring all that cool air in. And then you have a gloss black extra splitter. So we have a splitter that's in the Twinkie yellow color, and then we have our gloss black splitter to give us a little bit more downforce, because remember, the whole point of a splitter is to stop air from going underneath the vehicle, as much air as possible, because that's going to help with downforce and not create lift. But let me know what you think about the nose. Of course, that Lotus badge, so much history. I mean, Mario Andretti won his Formula One World Championship with Lotus. That's the type of victories and results that Colin Chapman and his team brought to racing. I mean, and here you get to drive it on the streets. Now, as we rise up, I love the shape of the hood, especially the way they did this boomerang style on both sides. And like I said, that's all functional aero. Coming around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So what you're gonna find are these forged wheels. Love the large V-spoke design, gloss black wheel. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? 20-inch wheel in diameter. You'll notice those big rotors, almost 14-inch rotors, cross-drilled, two-piece, and of course, our bright tomato sauce red calipers with the Lotus name on it. Now, I'm not the hugest fan of yellow and red. It reminds me, yes, of going to McDonald's and getting a Happy Meal. But if that's the case, I was pretty darn happy as a kid getting Happy Meals. I feel like I'm gonna be pretty darn happy getting behind the wheel of this car. Now, it does have adaptive suspension. And when you're looking at this type of car, of course, the tires up front are gonna be a little bit more narrow. That's gonna help with handling. And because of the overall size of this vehicle, wait until I tell you how much it weighs. It's all about in the handling. Now, looking at these tires, you're looking at up front, 245 on the width, 35 series sidewall, and you can actually see through the wheel here, you get steel braided lines for your brakes, and you can even see the adaptive damper and the upright. But think about that. From the factory, steel braided lines. Why is that a big deal? When you get on the brake pedal, you're not gonna have as much flex. Rubber hoses flex under pressure. That's where they take that race car engineering and bring it into the street car. Now, coming down the side, I do like the way they blacked out the mirror caps, your turn signals, and then the whole greenhouse of the car is blacked out. So going from your A pillar to your rear pillar gives it that nice bumblebee look, like it's gonna sting you right in the neck, killer bee. Here's a little fun fact. When I was in 5th grade, I was part of this after-school bowling team, and my team with my 2 other friends, we were known as the Killer Bees, and we had these shirts airbrushed and everything. It was pretty cool time. Now, with the aero, you'll notice how they took this triangular Dorito cut and it flows the air into our side vents. This is gonna be for the engine and for cooling. Flush mounted door handles, the way you open up the doors, you push and then you pull, and then you'll notice how they sculpted that lower gloss black sill extension, and even the way they shaped the door. It's all about flowing air towards the rear of the vehicle. Now, because this is the first year of the Emira, you do get a badge, and I like the way they placed it here. First edition, looks good. Even the quarter glass. Think about this. On a C8 Corvette, this portion is just gloss black. Gets all scratched up. Nice to have rear glass. Now, looking at the rear, you're still gonna get your beefed up calipers. Rotors are about 13 inches in diameter, and then you're gonna get squared all the way around. This is a 20-inch wheel. Now, tires out back are actually 295 on the width. So quite a bit wider because this is rear wheel drive. You can get it as a manual or an automatic, and this does have an electronic limited slip diff. But I love the style of the wheel with the Lotus badge and that bright yellow. Now, as we come around the back, you do get to see the goods underneath the rear hatch. There is that supercharged V6 prominently displayed. You got the cooling, that honeycomb grill cooling on the sides. Even the way that they did out the rear for the cooling, and then it goes into this ducktail rear spoiler. Love the way it's all, everything's just blended in, nothing stuck on. Now up here on the corner, you can actually see the rear tire. That's the arrow of the air coming out the back. Super thin LED lighting, the Lotus name, that's all you need out back. And then as we drop it like it's hot, you're gonna have your dual outlet exhaust / cut. They are active exhaust, make it quieter, make it louder, honeycomb finish, and then the rear diffuser out back. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the engine hatch and talk about the horsepower of this Lotus. All right guys, we got the rear engine hatch up. You do have 4 cubic feet of space. So if you need to bring like a duffel bag or something, plenty of room for that. But look at what we have. That Edelbrock top-mounted supercharger. I love the fact that you could see this through the glass. The Lotus name, V6. Believe it or not, this is a V6 out of an old Toyota Camry, the previous generation Toyota Camry. But trust me, it's got more oomph than a Camry ever did. With this Edelbrock supercharger, you're looking at 400 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. You could also get a Mercedes-Benz derived 2-liter inline-4 turbo if you want that. But I'm gonna go, if I'm getting one, I'm going V6 with the supercharger. 6-speed manual or 6-speed automatic. 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds flat. Quarter mile in 12.7 seconds at 112 miles an hour. Top speed right around 180 miles an hour. Now MPGs, 17 in the city, 26 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs, listen to this, 3,279 pounds. That is light, very light for this type of sports car. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and hear that active exhaust. All right, guys, we are inside. This is my first time ever sitting in a Lotus Emira, and the fact that we're going to be going on throttle together for the first time, it's like we get to pop our cherry together. Ooh. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I am in love with this Lotus Emira. How much is it? Asking price, and it only has 11 miles on it. You're looking at $98,911. Not cheap, but not supercar expensive. But let's see what you get when you go first edition Emira. To the door panels. Love the soft touch material. You have that stitching that looks great. The two-tone with the red, normally I would love, but I do have to zonk it because we are in a Twinkie yellow first edition Emira. Speaker grill covers, love that nice quality to the aluminum grill. And then you have enough room in that door pocket for 4 British scones and a cup of Earl Grey tea. Now going from the door panel to the dash, the two-tone, all nice soft touch. You have an Emira first edition badge. And then as you slide on in, you have your infotainment system. Now what size is that? You're basically looking at a 10.2 inch. It's like a 10.2 repeating 2 inch infotainment system screen. You have your navigation. It's all touchscreen. You even have things when you pull up the apps like your performance page, G-meter, actually shows downforce, horsepower, torque, all those goodies. And then when you go back in, you have a lap timer, and then you got some other trip statistics, but who cares about that? I don't care about statistics right now. What I care about is performance, and we're going to be going on throttle in this thing. Now to put it into reverse, there we are. Backup camera, it's okay. The resolution could be a little bit better, especially for a car that's almost $100,000. But one of my favorite things about this, and you can get us right back right there, is that you'll notice as you work your way down, you have real AC controls. Nice finish, the toggle switches, blower fan, and temperature. Let me lower that a little bit. Emira on all of the little areas that you're putting your fingers for the AC controls. And what's nice is that the materials are definitely a higher level than the Evora. You do have wireless charging. You have your drive modes. And Steven's going to show you on the screen the selection of your drive modes: Tour, Sport, and Track. You know we're going to be leaving it in Track. I promise you that. This is going to control your 6-speed automatic. I am sad that we don't have a 6-speed manual. That really breaks my freaking heart, to be honest with you. But beggars can't be choosers. 6-speed automatic. You got your first edition badge with the Union Jack. Because remember, Lotus is all about England, British made. Real volume knobs for the audio controls. Nice red with the stitching. And then they took a page sort of from Lamborghini or a fighter jet where you actually flip up and then you press the start stop button. Or you could kind of take your pinky and slide it right through there and hit your start stop button if you don't want to lift the red cover. 2 cup holders, a little bit of gloss black, nothing too crazy. Here is your Lotus Emira key fob. Looks great, very simple. Soft touch. You have enough room in there. I would say you could probably slide 4 Egg McMuffins, a USB-C and a USB-A, and then the seats. Talk about right out of a race car. You got the Lotus name, nice bolstering, the stitching. It is electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver. You got Alcantara all over the headliner. And you do have, which I don't know if I could show you. Let me see if I could move the seat for Steven. You do have some cubby storage area so that you could bring your track day Twinkies with you. So you have this wonderful area back here for the Twinkies. Plus you'll notice, look at the way they did the stitching and everything back here. Very nice quality. Quality has really gone up when you compare this to an Evora. And I like the fact that this is just a 2-seater. You don't need 4 seats in this thing. We don't need a longer Emira. This is perfect. Just like Colin Chapman would want it. Small and light. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a flat bomb steering wheel, not with your name on it. Not even with my name on it. With the Emira name on it. Let me show you. All right, guys. Business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. Pedal box is tight. You'll notice how small the pedal box is and how it's actually over to the right a little bit. You do have a nice dead pedal, and then there's a raw aluminum brake pedal and throttle. But people with big feet, you're gonna have to be a little smooth on that movement. And then on top of that, if you got a manual, you would have the clutch pedal in there, which I wish we had a manual. But you do have your power seat controls, easy to get to. I'm 6 feet tall. Don't think that this is too small. It's not. It feels freaking fantastic in here. I feel like it's a O.J. Simpson isotoner glove that's wrapped around my body. I love it. Steering wheel, 2-piece leather, the red stitching. You got your red leather top dead center. There's the Emira name, the Lotus badge, flat black on the switchgear, metal pedals for that 6-speed automatic, and it is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then of course you have that digital gauge cluster. And what's cool is when you go into the different modes, it changes. Let me get that thing out of here. Yes, there we go. Get that out of the way. That's sport. And then here's my favorite. This is what we're going to be doing, track, because we have that tachometer right across the top there, looking really good. Another thing I wanted to point out, perfect for when you have your leather racing gloves, you do have a little cubby because this is actually a bridge, and then there's a cubby down here for your racing gloves. And you could either do fingerless style or regular style racing gloves. It's up to you. Let me know what you prefer. Steven, I think, is into fingerless. But why don't we go ahead? I think it's that time. We don't have a back seat. We don't have a frunk. But what we do have is that supercharged V6. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in this Emira. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Lotus Emira First Edition. And right away, it's an incredible experience. You know, the sills come up a little high when you get in, a little higher than what you would find like on a C8 Corvette or something like that. But that's just part of the specialness. It really is that true, pure mid-engine sports car. View out the front is fantastic. Even out the back with that sharply diagonal piece of glass there, you have really good vision. And the reason why I'm having trouble speaking because I get to see the supercharged V6 right in my rear view. I'm gonna go ahead and shift manually with the 6-speed automatic. It is a traditional torque converter, automatic transmission, nice large gear indicator. On throttle, here we go. Man, oh man, that sound. Feels good. Good input from the steering. Look at this. Wow. You can actually hear some of the supercharger whine, and you hear some pops and bangs coming out of the exhaust, which is really nice. Seats are very, very supportive. Very supportive, very comfortable, and they look really, really good. It's just comparing this to a Cayman GTS, or God forbid a Cayman GT4, those actually feel a little bit quicker and a little bit more engaging than this car does. But compared to the outgoing Evora GT, this is really, really super fantastic. The shifts from the gearbox are very, very fast. I just feel like I'm not getting 100% the full experience because we don't have the manual. That's where I feel like I'm not able to really fully take in this Lotus Emira, but still, all the materials, I don't know of any other Lotus that has had the materials be as nice as what they're bringing in this Emira. Nice large digital gauge cluster. Ready? Second gear. On throttle, here we go! So, it's very, very linear torque delivery. And unlike a Cayman GTS or a GT4, it starts to build in the torque lower in the rev range. With a Cayman GTS, you gotta wait until about 4,500, 5,000 RPM for it to really cook up. This, it's gonna be lower in that rev range. But the steering is very precise. I feel like I could place this car on a road course any which way I want it. And what's nice is that I'm not feeling any trouble with the smaller pedal box. And I wear a size 12, so I guess unless you're wearing, you know, Ronald McDonald clown shoes, you're gonna be okay overall with the pedal box. But the sound is really worth the price of admission right over your shoulder. With the adaptive suspension, the ride is obviously very, very sporty, but it's not harsh. It's not bouncing over the bumps and really shaking the fillings out of my teeth. But I'm actually shocked with the 6-speed automatic, and it makes sense to have a 6-speed automatic in a Lotus. Here, I'm gonna tell you why. If they're going based off the belief of Colin Chapman that it's about lightness, the less gears you have in a gearbox, the lighter it's gonna be. That's why a 911 GT3 RS has a 7-speed PDK and not the 8-speed newer PDK. It's for that very reason. So with a 6-speed, you actually have a lighter gearbox. But what this car is all about is handling. It's not about going to the drag strip and drag racing people. It's in the handling, and that's where this thing really comes together super nicely. This is where I get a smile on my face. Holds the line really well. Not too harsh over the bumps. Smooth downshifts. Yee-hoo, baby. Where I need to be with this car is Angeles Crest Highway in California. That's where you're really gonna see the benefit of the lighter weight. I mean, the fact that this weighs a little over 3,200 pounds, think about it. A C8 Corvette, we're getting close to 4,000 pounds for a Stingray. I I mean, that's getting up there, guys and girls. So it's one of those things that I could appreciate what this car is trying to accomplish. And I think that what it's trying to accomplish, it does very well. And for those that don't want to go the Cayman route because you see them all the time or whatever, or maybe they just don't make your heart pitter patter, this is an alternative. It's an alternative to it. But we're gonna make a quick U-turn here, so don't you worry. Don't you worry your little head. Making a nice little U-turn. On the brakes. Those big brakes. And they're almost actually 15 inches up front. They're over 14 inches up front, over 13 inches out back. Just a nice balanced sports car. Having the engine in the middle, just very, very communicative. I feel like I could go through these corners a lot faster. Obviously, this is not my car though. That sound. But I'm hoping that you're enjoying this quick review of this Lotus Emira. We gotta get back to Jacobs Mitsubishi out here in Wesley Chapel. So even though I don't want to go back, we got to. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys. It's days like these that are just worth waking up for and being able to share it with you, especially with something like this Lotus Emira first edition. We got a long line of people to thank. Jay, Richie, Ben, Kevin, Daniel, the whole team getting us access to this pure, just total engagement of the visceral driving experience of a sports car. But now it's your turn. Let me know what you think. Is this the must-own sports car? Or are you more about horsepower? You really need to have a high horsepower number and a fast 0 to 60. Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Razor Rides family. Gotta get up to Stephen Flood. After today, he even loves Twinkies just a little bit more because of the color on this Lotus Emira. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.